Hello and Happy New Year. If I haven't yet met you, I'm Lisa. It's so nice to meet you. And if you've been around for a while, then welcome back. I'm gonna get right to it. So New Year's, whether you're watching this hot off the press or you're catching this later on, maybe mid-year, or maybe it's just your birth year. Anyways, it's always a good time to plan your next big adventure. And especially as it's recently been a new year, that is on my brain. What epic trip have I been just dying to take that I'm going to make happen this year? And so I've been doing research. I've talked to so many of you at different places I've traveled to along the way. And also many of you in the comments will suggest an amazing train trip. I get those all the time, and sometimes you email me ideas as well. So I have been accumulating quite an incredible list that I'm really excited to share with you. So I'll already go ahead and say, grab a pen and paper, or grab your phones or your computer or something, because you're gonna wanna take notes, because I have lots of things to share that you're gonna wanna kind of follow up, research, percolate, and then decide where you might wanna go. And I know some of you are homebound, or there may be any number of reasons why you can't make a trip soon or this year. I know last year I had this really amazing trip in mind and it just didn't quite happen. So if that's the case, feel free to write in the comments if I mention any trip or you know of a cool train trip that you'd really like to experience through my channel this year. Another thing to quickly note, you'll notice some updates to my YouTube channel page. So take a look at that. Also make sure that you look at the links that I have listed. One's to my website, lisakentertainment.com. You can get on my email list. I don't send emails that often, but when I do, you want to get one. Also, there's a link to my Instagram. I put like behind the scenes video on there, make announcements. You can connect. So that's something you'll want to visit as well on my webpage. And then also, so the website's updated recently, and then the channel page is updated, Instagram, all that stuff. A couple of the other links that I have on my YouTube channel page are for Omio. I used that this past year to book train travel, and there's a discount code there that you can use if it's your first time with Omio. So I definitely recommend that for booking trains both in the United States, North America, Europe, elsewhere. You can book flights and other things through them too. Also, I have an Expedia link that you can use, and I use that to book my first package, like vacation package. I hadn't ever done the combo before, and it made the flight free this past year to a really incredible trip to Dominican Republic. So anyways, check out all those links. Without further ado, okay, so hopefully you have your pen, paper, something to take some notes. I'm gonna start with some train trips that are maybe shorter, maybe an hour or two, that maybe I've done, maybe I want to do, that are, I'm sure, great, or I can tell you they've been great because I've already done them, but maybe not as big of a trip. Okay, so we'll just start with generally things like that. And again, thanks to all of you who have recommended many of these trips to me. All right, because yeah, it's fun when you get idea. Every time I talk to somebody and they're like, oh my gosh, have you done this? Have you been that? Or I really want to do this. It's like, ooh, I get very excited. Okay, so one little trip I did, I don't know if you call this a trip, train ride though, because we're talking about epic train rides and train rides. So again, we're gonna start small-ish and then go to some ones that I think probably you won't have even heard of. All right, I rode the Polar Express train recently. That was amazing. I had a blast. You can see it on my channel. Steamtown in Scranton, Pennsylvania. There are a bunch of trains you can ride in Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a big railroading state. Lots going on there, from museums to the actual train rides. Okay, Union Station in Los Angeles. I also have a bunch of episodes that I filmed there. You can catch there are a couple of trains you can get. You can do the Coast Starlight, take it from Union Station all the way up to Seattle. If you've done that and you loved it, say so in the comments, or anything you want to say about that journey. I know a lot of you have either done it or you've wanted to do it. So yeah, the Coast Starlight. Also, There's a train that goes from, San Diego to San Luis Obispo. So the Pacific Surfliner. That's another one. Union Station is amazing. It's very special. It was one of the last like big grand stations to be built. And so it's a beautiful place. I've been to different events there. Again, you can see some of the ones I've been to on my channel, and it's a good place to kind of catch a train going south or north from, I don't know, 30 miles to like 300, 600 miles. All right, Roaring Camp. This is a place I have not been yet. And you can take a train that's also just like a short, like hour or two train ride. I think maybe even less. That is like near Santa Cruz in California. So, yeah, I mean, Redwood Forest near the beach. And then there's this restaurant nearby, Shadowbrook Restaurant, that I really want to go to. It looks so romantic, so charming, so beautiful. Also there's a, oh my gosh, a funicular. I think that's what this is called too. So I know I have an episode of a funicular in downtown Los Angeles. If you haven't seen that, that was a blast. I actually did that with one of my best friends, Jean. So super cool. If you're like, what is that? Then you should check that out. And if you know what it is, they're not, but so many of those that even exist. So it's definitely an experience. But so this Roaring Camp, you can go there, do the train ride through the redwoods. I mean, huge trees. And then also go to the restaurant afterwards or before, where you take this little funicular up to get to the restaurant. I mean, what an experience, right? Okay, so I hope to do that this year. That's one of the things I had hoped to do last year. You can't do it all, right? You can't do it all. But at the same time, I'll just say, as I share this long list, there's a place I have in mind for this year that didn't happen last year that I am determined to make possible. So that will be in the next episode, I think. Okay, anyways, moving on. Train Mountain, Oregon, I'll just throw this in there. I'm pretty much sticking to train rides that you can do that are on like full scale trains. But Train Mountain, again, if you've watched some of my channel, then you might have heard of it already, or if you've just heard of it from someone else, or if you've actually been there. But there's this big, in the summertime, big event where all these people come with their 7.5 gauge trains and ride them. And, well, shoot. Okay, let me just put you back. Or is it here? Okay, I'm just gonna carry on. All right, so anyways, Train Mountain, Oregon. All of those 7.5 gauge that are kind of, you straddle them and then you ride, and like tons of people go there, and there's miles and miles and miles and miles of track. I think it's like 22 miles, 20 miles actually. So anyways, that would be a cool event. I haven't been there yet, but I heard about it from a guy I met at the Train Shack in Burbank, California, who I then ran into the very next day with the live steamers in Griffith Park in Hollywood, and rode some of those trains around there. And I know he goes up there every year. Okay, so, all right, there's that. Clarksdale near Sedona, Arizona, has a train with nice canyon views. Have any of you done that before? I know one of you recommended that, and also mentioned that Jerome, that's near Clarksdale, a town, has old European vibes. And many of you know I love Europe. I lived in France, and I love Europe. And I have an upcoming episode actually where I filmed riding a train in France and the destination and stuff. So you'll see that. And there's stuff that's already on my channel in France and other parts of Europe. So feel free to check all that out. Okay, I know one of you actually told me that you were in Williams recently and took the train to the Grand Canyon. So if any of you want to comment on that, I've been to the Grand Canyon twice. I have not ridden the train there. So that would be a whole nother kind of experience. And I think if I were to go back, I would prefer to, ride a train or go whitewater rafting or like do some kind of other activity beyond just standing at the overlooks. Okay. Okay, the Fort Wayne Railroad. This is in Illinois. I didn't note that, but I think it's in Illinois. And I just saw, like today, okay, that they have this wine and winter cozy event. It is Valentine's Day weekend, okay? Wine and winter cozy event. There's chocolate. If you've watched my channel much, you know that I have chocolate every day, and live music. So, oh my gosh, wine and winter, and wine, of course, is in the title. Okay, so that sounds great. And then also Valentine's Day weekend, they have family-friendly daytime rides that is part of their hot chocolate festival. I had hot chocolate today. I love hot chocolate. So that just sounds so fun. Again, Fort Wayne Railroad in Illinois. If any of you are in Illinois or might be able to get there, they have things throughout the year, but those are just some upcoming events there that sound cool in terms of train rides. Again, these are like kind of shorter train rides. Okay, also the Rocky Mountaineer. How could we not mention the Rocky Mountaineer? I would love to take that in Canada. I've never been to Banff. I've seen pictures. Banff, you see like lakes and, or a lake, I should say, a lake, blue. It looks so beautiful. It's the kind of place that you see on screensavers and on calendars and things because it's just so amazing. And the Rocky Mountaineer goes a bunch of places. They have a bunch of different routes and, observation cars, and you can just be looking out. So that is something I hope to do sooner rather than later. If any of you want to write about your experience on the Rocky Mountaineer, or if there's a particular journey with the Rocky Mountaineer that you really would love to experience on this channel, let me know. Okay, there are stargazing train rides. Okay, I found an article on TripAdvisor. In fact, I'll post that on the posts for YouTube. There's like a post area, community tab. If you didn't know that, then now you know. So I will post a link to that, but these stargazing train rides, that sounds so magical to me. Yeah, really. So I really would love to do that. Okay. There's the skunk train in Northern California. I still haven't done that. I would like to. My dad and my stepmom did it, loved it. I know a lot of you have recommended it. One of you, I think, is even on the board that watches this channel. We've connected. Days of Steam. Yeah, so you can ride a steam train there. Maybe like, let's see, 6 weeks out of the year. And then they have other trains going throughout the year. Okay, so there's that. Let's move along. Okay, so I am going to skip now to other places. The world is a big place, right? It's so big. And there are some trips that I really want to do. There's so many. In fact, it feels like, gosh, a lifetime isn't enough time. And I'm not a billionaire, but I also just want to say too that a lot is possible. Travel, I don't know, you can just find different ways, to kind of put things together. I've used airline points. I've been gifted things. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I've been scrappy over the years in finding ways to get abroad. And some of these train trips themselves are actually not expensive. Yeah, and then some of them are thousands of dollars. They really vary. Obviously, there's the time and expense of getting to some of these places if you don't already live in the country. But okay, but we're dreaming, we're researching, we're gonna let things percolate and then decide what we want to do and put on our wish list, and then what we are going to execute. And so I will carry on with some fun ideas for you. All right, in Norway, there is a new luxury train coming this year. It should be here by the fall. So the Norient Express. All right, look that up. Also, one of you out there recommended a couple other things, the Old Voss Railway and a narrow gauge, the Sete, I don't know if I'm saying this right, SETE Valley Railway. Okay, so the Old Voss Railway and the Sete Valley Railway. And then, as I already mentioned, the Norient Express. Norient Express, like Norway, Norient. Okay. Orient Express. All right, so that's new. It's new and it's sustainable. It's a luxury train that is using electric power and natural materials and showcasing Norway's natural beauty. So yeah, that's coming likely this fall. In England, there's the Settle to Carlisle line. One of you recommended that. In Scotland, okay. Also, this came from one of the subscribers, one of you guys. The Kyle of Lacalsh, I'm saying that very well, line in Scotland. And this is only 18 pounds one way, which is probably like $36 US. And so again, got to get there if you're not already in Scotland, but then the train ride itself is very reasonable. And it's Inverness to Kyle of Lacalsh. I'm gonna say that right. But stunning scenery, mountains, moors, the coastline. The West Highland ride is about 3.5 hours long, and it's supposed to be one of the best train rides in the United Kingdom. So yeah, it's supposed to just have, dramatic views and be amazing. I've never been to Scotland. If you have, let me know if you've done this journey before, or any other thoughts. But I would love to go to Scotland. Part of my ancestry is from Scotland, and yeah, I'm just drawn to going there. So that's a place I hope to go to in the next year or two. Okay. Isle of Man. Probably a lot of you are like, where's the Isle of Man? And honestly, I had one of you recommended the trains there and mentioned exactly where it was. And I went ahead and I looked it up too to just kind of get a better idea. But it's between the United Kingdom and Ireland. It is not part of Great Britain. It's part of the British Isles, that whole region, but it's not part of Great Britain. But Cranky Trolley, his little Cranky Trolley, recommended this place. Isle of Man Victorian era trains, there's regular service, there's a steam railway, trams, and a mountain railway. It looks amazing. I love unique anything, I guess. So the fact that there's this little island there, between those two other areas, other countries, and that there's a steam railway there. I don't know. It's very intriguing to me, and it looks beautiful. So Isle of Man. Okay, New Zealand, the Transalpine and Coastal Pacific. This also came as a recommendation from one of you. Thank you. I've been in New Zealand. I spent a month on the South Island, and I did not ride the train there. I rode around in a convertible, and I love convertibles. I have a convertible. I rode around on a motorcycle. That was really exciting and beautiful. But oh my gosh, when you picture New Zealand and the landscape, oh my gosh, I picture a train. And in fact, I saw the train going by when I was there. So I feel like that would be a great way to experience New Zealand, a train ride. So yeah, the Transalpine and Coastal Pacific are a couple recommendations from one of you wonderful people. Okay, did you know there's a train in Sri Lanka? I mean, there are trains all over the world, right? Okay, so there's the Colombo train to Badula. The Colombo train to Badula in Sri Lanka. It's $15.50 for first class on the luxury Ella Odyssey train. And it's 10 hours long. breathtaking, affordable. Again, $15.50 for first class on the luxury Ella Odyssey train. I mean, this price could have changed, might change tomorrow, but that's what it is. So again, very affordable, breathtaking views, 10-hour ride. It looks amazing. I mean, I had never thought of going to Sri Lanka. Why? I don't really know much about Sri Lanka. And I found that that's the case. Like, there've been a couple places recently where a friend was like, oh, I'm gonna go to Iceland, or I'm gonna go wherever. And I was like, huh, okay. And then when she sent me a couple of videos, told me a little bit about it, I was like, oh my gosh, this looks amazing, you know? So anyways, I saw a video of this train in Sri Lanka and I was like, oh my gosh, I wanna go. All right, so there's an idea. Switzerland. Okay, one of my friends in Los Angeles recommended the Bernina Express. And I think at least a couple of you have also recommended trains in Switzerland. I have taken trains in Switzerland, really to get around, not like a scenic train. I mean, you can you can ride a train for transportation specifically and take in the beautiful views of Switzerland. So of course I did that, from Zurich to Freiburg. I feel like I went somewhere else too. Anyways, but these trains sound amazing. Bernina Express and the Glacier Express. Also, I wrote down this Golden Rail Pass. So that's another thing to look into. And the Belle Epoque starts in Montreux. For under $100, there's a chocolate tasting experience you can book. I think that's actually what my friend Michelle did. Because I feel like the chocolate experience that kind of like stands out to me. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure she mentioned that. So again, in Switzerland, there's the Bernina Express, Glacier Express, and the Belle Epoque, that starts in Montreux, where there's a jazz festival. Okay, chocolate tasting. I mean, chocolate on a train, chocolate wine, chocolate anywhere. Anyways, okay, always comes back to chocolate for me. In Italy, have you been to Italy? I love Italy. Ooh. I will say that riding the trains in Italy, well, my experience has been they're pretty basic, pretty old and basic. I don't know what else to say there. Again, love Italy, but there is a new luxury train that goes from Paris all the way to the Amalfi Coast. It's a direct train. I think it does include like one night at a hotel at the end, maybe something else, but it's a direct train, Paris to the Amalfi Coast, and it's through Belmond. You know, Belmond has boutique hotels, like amazing boutique hotels around the world, and amazing luxury train trips available around the world. And this is one that is new. So yeah, you can also take them like in Tuscany, you know, for a night, in Italy, as well as other places around the world. Like South America, that's another place I'd love to take a train. We'll get to that soon, more on that. In fact, next, I will mention that. Okay, so Argentina. Have any of you been to Argentina? I have not. I've wanted to go. I found out in recent years that my dad's, what would it even be? It's a cousin, a long lost cousin, Jorge. He lives in Cordoba. And so when my great grandmother left Sicily and married another Sicilian in Toledo, Ohio, her brother went to Argentina. And then he had a kid, and then maybe he had a kid, and that's Jorge, something like that. All right, so yeah. Anyways, you don't need my whole family history. But all to say, I would love to go meet him. That would be really, really special. The other thing I like to do in Argentina is go on this, well, let's see. Okay, there are a couple different trains there. I mean, there's probably more than a couple of trains, but okay. But the one that really looks interesting is this, well, Tren a las Tubes, or Train to the Clouds. If you haven't heard of this, or if you haven't seen pictures, look it up. Train to the Clouds in Argentina. Tren a las Tubes. Oh my gosh. I have to say, when I look at pictures, I'm a little afraid. I'm a little afraid. It's so high up. Wow. Yeah. I mean, you're just like, anyways. Okay, but there is this 2-hour train ride, the Train to the Clouds train ride, and plus you can take a bus, you make a bunch of other stops during the day. It's like a 14-hour extravaganza that I found offered on TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor is not paying me to say that. Okay, for $162. So again, like a 14-hour extravaganza with the train ride, the bus, other stops, blah, blah, $162. Train to the Clouds. Anyways, that looks amazing. Okay, Australia. And I know that some of you are watching from Australia. So there is the GHAN, Ghan. Is it GHAN? GHAN? I should have looked that up. I like to get like pronunciations correct. Okay, anyways, you can either begin or end it in Adelaide. I actually know someone in Adelaide, so if you're watching, salut. So this looks really cool. It's a 1,850 mile 2-night journey through the heart of Australia. So you experience the desert all the way to lush tropical scenery. Wow. I mean, I've never been to Australia, and when I think of just how big the continent is, the landscape, and I don't know, the animals, like there are things in Australia that, you know, you can't see in a lot of other places. Yeah, it seems like something that would be fun to experience by train. So anyways, that is on my list. Okay, Sydney South Coast, there is a picnic train. The Riverina, I wrote that down. I think that was also a recommendation from one of you, so thank you so much. And if any of you are like, hey, I told her about that, feel free to write in the comments, get your credit where credit is due. Okay, what else? We're nearing, I think we're nearing the end of my list. There's one that I haven't yet mentioned, but okay, well, anyways, we'll get to that. All right, so the World Cup. Well, the World Cup is going to be in Los Angeles soon, but in 2030, it's going to be in, well, it's a combination. It's the first time it's going to be in Spain, Portugal, Morocco, and then also in Uruguay, Paraguay, and Argentina. So they're like all hosting it. That's never happened before. They're in the process, let me know if you've heard about this or not, of building a train from Spain to Morocco. I mean, a train tunnel, like the channel from London, from England to France. Anyways, I never took that. I studied in Lille, which is way up north, northern France. And you'd think I would have taken the train across to London, but I've been in London, but I never went by train. Okay, anyways, so this is going to be like a major feat. There was just this new, study, assessment, and everything determining like, yes, it's possible. It's possible to build this train tunnel, this train from Spain to Morocco, through the Strait of Gibraltar. But, it's going to be hard. And it's going to be one of the, biggest feats, of its kind. So anyways, that is not going to be done by the World Cup that's happening there as they'd hoped, as they planned. But from what I've read, it's still in the works. They're glad it's possible, and it's still going to happen sooner or later. So anyways, that's something to kind of keep your eye on. That is pretty amazing. I mean, that's a huge body of water, and everything there culturally and with people being able to get to and fro and stuff. Okay, I mean, joining one continent with another. So that's pretty major. All right, and the last thing I'll mention is in Thailand, the blue jasmine. So I'm guessing probably most of you haven't heard of Blue Jasmine. If you've actually done it before, my gosh, please comment and tell us all about it. Anyways, that is my list thus far, but again, the world is such a big place and there are so many amazing train rides out there to take that I have not mentioned them all. I know if there's something that you're dying to share, please feel free to write in the comments and I will tell you next time where I am determined to go this year. A dreamed trip that was my dream last year and again just wasn't able to quite make it happen. And I've been thinking about it and I've been feeling it out. I just watched a TV show last night and all of a sudden up popped on the screen the Train Bleu, which is a little hint, I guess, at this train trip I want to take. And there's been like a place, like a country kind of top on my list to go to for years that I've just been kind of interested in, intrigued by. Never been to, want to go. And so I've been thinking about this trip, and even though this list is long, all the places that I do hope to go one day, there's one that is like it's the priority for me this year, and it's something I feel like I need to do, I want to do, I need to do, like kind of for my, I don't know, my soul. I just feel this pull to do it and like it will be really good for me. So anyways, I will tell you more about that next time. But if you have decided where you want to go for your big next trip, your big next train trip, I would love for you to share it in the comments. And I'm excited about this year, and I appreciate all of you, and I will see you very soon.